Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, khcentral here. Back at it yet again with another Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC video for you guys today. I just keep on cranking these out, don't I? I have a lot of ideas for them right now. These also get a lot of views as well. You guys are engaging with them too, so thank you guys so much for that. As always, for the likes, support, views, subs, all that kind of stuff really means a lot to me. So this is actually something that I've been meaning to talk about for quite a while now. This is something that I've only mentioned in passing, not really went fully into.
Flashback to a few videos ago.
Come on, just give us the goods, man. Just call it Final Mix, what it is. It's seeming like that's what it's gonna be. It's seemingly. They're spending a lot of time on it, so they might as well just. But I've been thinking about it, and you know, I kind of want to talk about it in a video because I think it's an interesting discussion topic there, and this is something I think they should do. So I kind of want to explain why I think that way and start a discussion of what you guys think they should do, why I make these videos. So yeah, as always, let's just get into it, man. So we're actually only like a couple months away from the release of Remind, Kingdom Hearts 3's big DLC pack. They say this winter, which could either mean late next year or early next year, either one of those, but still only a couple months away. We still don't know that much about it yet. We only have one trailer and a list of things provided by Nomura that's going to be in it. That seems like it's going to be the pretty firm list. I wouldn't expect anything else to be added in there. Like a limit cut episode and limit cut boss, which we're still really confused on what that means. I don't know. And a bunch of new cutscenes and new bosses and weapons and costumes and transformations, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff being added into this Remind thing.
I'd like to give you an example of just how much content is going to be in this thing. Nomura mentioned in an interview that there's going to be nearly as many bosses in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind as there were in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Whew, that's almost 20 plus bosses right there. Holy crap. But when you're looking at that list and seeing the content that's inside it, to me at least when I look at that, it seems very, very reminiscent of what the Final Mixes were. You know, they added a bunch of new forms and keyblades and like the ultimate weapon keyblade although that's already in Kingdom Hearts 3. Cutscenes, new bosses, new things to do, all this kind of stuff. This seems like it's a Final Mix almost, but they're just not calling it that. Nomura stated though that Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix is not going to be a thing. The reason that they're doing this is because of the new DLC format, you know, that didn't really exist when the 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep were having their Final Mixes, and now that this is a thing, they kind of want to do that in incremental updates. We kind of saw that with the Critical Mode update and this thing right here. So there you go. Seems pretty firm on that being no Final Mix for Kingdom Hearts 3. But what's driving me insane, and something that I don't see a lot of people bringing up, but I think is important, is the fact that Remind is supposed to be a temporary title, I think. They said back when they first announced it, back in the Orchestra event, back in May, I think that's when it was, they said that Remind is a temporary title. They put that little parentheses next to the name when they presented it. So they put that there for a reason, seeming like they wanted to put another name by the time it comes out. But they've put it all in the marketing, they've put it in the trailer, they've referred to it as Remind, and Nomura even explained what Remind meant. So is it the final name? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. They've not been clear on that. I wish I could get a confirmation from them somehow if that's the final name, because I'm really confused. In this final point right here is just my speculation and how I think things may be going. I think Remind may be a one and done thing for them. I think since they've been working so long on Kingdom Hearts 3, they've been putting at least a year of work into this Remind thing right here since they're putting so much content in it. Maybe they'll just want to move on after this to the next Kingdom Hearts game, try to get that out on the next gen systems or whatever they're going to do. Maybe that's why they've added so much content into this one DLC pack. Maybe they want to add it incrementally, but they want to get it out as soon as possible, so they just put it all into one thing, and they're going to put it out like that. Combine that with the fact that there's no final name, I'm just sitting over here saying like, yo, just do it, man. Just do it. Just call it Final Mix. Because that's seemingly, from what they're describing, in my speculation, what this thing is. Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix. Because what do you call a Kingdom Hearts product that is a ton of additions to the base game with extra weapons and bosses and costumes and stuff like that? And if my speculation is correct, which again, no idea, if it's just a one put out thing, what do you call that? A Final Mix. That's essentially what it is. So Remind, in my view, is essentially Final Mix. I think they should just call it that for that reason. And yeah, I know Nomura said that there's not going to be a Final Mix, but in that article, the excuse he gives, I don't know if it holds water with what they're doing with Remind over here, because it seems like it's going to be a humongous DLC pack. We don't know the volume of content that's going to be in it, but based on my speculation and what I can see, it seems like it's going to be a lot. They've been working on it for the past year, so those small incremental updates, they only did really one of them, and that was for Critical Mode, so
there that goes. This thing didn't really hold that much water when you look up to it. It's just making it look more like they should do a final mix because it would just make sense in that kind of way. I guess there's some other things going into it that kind of hold it back because the ultimate weapon and critical mode are already in Kingdom Hearts 3, the base game already now. That may hold it back a bit, but I don't think that should hold it back from being final mix though, because you can do that regardless, I think. If you're adding enough content, I think it would count. Like I also mentioned, he compared it directly to a final mix when he was talking about the amount of bosses being in it. He said there's going to be as many as Kingdom Hearts 2 final mix, which is 20 plus, so that's pretty freaking much. That could give us a big indicator of how much stuff's going to be in this thing, so there you go. I understand if Nomura wants to do something a little bit different this time around. He wants to do a little bit of a different naming convention going forward, because maybe since we're starting a whole new saga and stuff like that, he wants to go in a different direction with that, maybe just call them different things. And I understand that, I guess, if that's what he wants to do. I don't know if that's what he's doing, but if that's the case, then I understand that. But again, it's just to me, I think it would just make sense for them to do it. This is just my kind of view on it, though. They can do whatever they want. I'm not saying what they can and cannot do, but come on, man, just do it. I would love you forever if you just call this a final mix. This whole DLC system would make a final mix thing even better, because I think it was in the 2.5 art book, but he said if they ever did a final mix ever again, it would not be exclusive to Japan only. It was a different time back then when they were releasing it on disc and stuff like that. It is a massive online infrastructure. It doesn't care what region you're from. As long as you can get something, it's fine. As long as it's not region locked. So if they want to do that, they can release it simultaneously around the world. It won't matter. My Kingdom Hearts fan deep down inside would actually be very much in love with that if you did that. But there's another way I think they could do this with a final mix. So if this is not a one and done thing, if they're going to release some more DLC packs in the future, which again is possible, that's just my speculation. A lot of these game companies, they release a physical version of the game that includes all of the DLC that was released for it, all in one package. And it's like $40 or something like that, a discounted price. So it's just a great deal like that, those Game of the Year editions. Square Enix wants to do something like that with Kingdom Hearts 3, then I think they should call it Final Mix, because again, that's what it would be. If you called it Game of the Year edition, I would just be confused more than anything else, because Kingdom Hearts doesn't usually do anything like that. They don't follow those kind of trends. They do their kind of own thing. All these Game of the Year editions are essentially final mixes of those games. I just there's so many ways I think they could do a final mix of Kingdom Hearts 3, and this Remind thing, if this is the only one, I think should be one of them. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is still a temporary name for the thing. It could be different. They could be calling it Final Mix in the future. We'll have to wait and see on that. If this is the temporary name still, it could be the final name. They're not being clear on that again. But we'll have to sit back, relax, and wait. At least in my view, I think they, if this is a one-done thing, should call this Final Mix. But if it isn't a one-done thing, and there's other DLC packs coming, then I think they should call the re-release of that, if they do it, Final Mix. It would just make so much sense, man. It makes so much sense, but they don't want to do it. I understand if Nomura wants to do something different, but that DLC excuse doesn't really hold water with Remind. That's just how I see it. So tell me down in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think they should call Remind Final Mix? Do you think they should do at least some form of Final Mix for Kingdom Hearts 3, whether it be like a Game of the Year edition or this? What do you think it's going to be like in the future? Do you think this is going to be a thing going forward, not doing Final Mixes anymore? Tell me down in the comments below your opinion. Also, make sure to subscribe and like this video, and follow me on Twitter, and also join the Discord server, and subscribe to my channel, because that would be really awesome if you did. This has been khcentral, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!